Hey, this is Leon. Just a quick note before we begin. This isn't a review or a lore deep dive. This series is about the personal lessons I took from games, the moments that quietly stuck with me and what they made me feel. It's not about what the game meant to say, just how it resonated with me. And spoiler warning, big time. I'll be talking about some major scenes, especially toward the end of the game. So if you haven't played Breath of Fire 4 yet and you have the means to do so, please go experience it first. This video is for those who have already finished it or maybe still carry parts of it with them. So without further ado, Breath of Fire 4. Developed and published by Capcom, the game first came out in 2000 for the original PlayStation, and later received a PC port in Japan and Europe. Nowadays, you can play the game via GOG, and that's the version that I would usually suggest you go to. It's the fourth in the Breath of Fire series, a quieter entry maybe, but also one of the most emotionally layered in my opinion. I actually first played it when I was younger, back on my old PS1. But I never got to finish. My console's transformer gave out and that was that. Fast forward to today, I've got a Steam Deck and some emulation magic, and finally I finished it. And what struck me wasn't the gameplay or world building, though those were really great ahead of its time. It was the characters. One of the things that makes Breath of Fire 4 unique is how it splits the story between two protagonists, Ryu and Fou-Lu. Ryu is the hero archetype, the silent, kind center of a group of companions. Fou-Lu is something else. A god awakened by centuries of slumber, returning to a world that once worshipped him and now hunts him. At first you expect one to be good and one to be evil, but as their stories unfold, it becomes clear they aren't so different. They both suffer, they both face betrayal, but the difference isn't who they are, it's who they have beside them. There's a moment in Ryu's story where everything could have gone wrong. Captain Raso, a man drunk on power and self-righteous cruelty, pushes Ryu to the edge. Ryu is ready to lose control. The dragon within him is steering, angry, and feral. And then Nina steps in. She doesn't fight, she just places herself between Ryu and destruction. A soft voice in a loud world. He stops. He remembers who he is. And what struck me was, even in that awful moment, Ryu had people. Nina, Urshin, Gray, friends who believed in him. That might seem small, but in the world of Breath of Fire 4, it's everything. Now let's contrast that with Fou-Lu. There's a moment where he pacifies a guardian god in the mountains, not with violence but with empathy. He calms it, he shows control, grace, and even mercy. And yet the landlord who housed him betrays him to the imperial troops. We never know why. Maybe it was fear, maybe jealousy, maybe he saw how close Mami and Fou-Lu were. But that betrayal, it breaks the whole arc. Fou-Lu loses Mami, the only person who showed him kindness. And later, when he's attacked with a carronade cannon, you can see it. He's tired. He's not angry anymore, just hollow. What made it worse is that no one ever came back. In Ryu's story, Sayas betrays the party, but he returns. He redeems himself. In Fou-Lu's story, there is no redemption, no one returns. And eventually, he stopped expecting anyone to. That hit me hard. Because I think about how people change. I don't believe anyone is born evil. But I do think we all have that latent propensity, a quiet seed of bitterness we carry. All it takes is the right conditions, the wrong environment, the right kind of pain, a betrayal at the worst possible time, and the absence of anyone to help you process it. Fou-Lu wasn't born a villain, he just ran out of reasons not to be. Meanwhile, Ryu faced many of the same dangers, but he had connections. That contrast made me realize something. It's not about who's stronger or who suffers more. It's about who has someone when it matters. Because when things get heavy enough, anyone can fall. I've had moments where I felt like Fou-Lu. Not powerful, not righteous, just tired. Tired of being misunderstood, tired of being judged before being known. But I've also had friends. People who like Nina, Urshin, Trey, Sayas, and Ursula just stood beside me, even in silence. And that made all the difference. Bed of Fire 4 reminded me that sometimes what stops someone from breaking isn't strength, it's presence. Someone just being there. And you can be that for someone else. That matters more than you think. So yeah, Breath of Fire 4 is just a game I finally finished after all these years. It's a quiet story about how we're shaped by pain and by the people who choose to walk with us through it. That kindness, even quiet kindness, can be the one thing that pulls someone back from the edge. Thank you for listening. I'll be making more of these reflections soon, personal takeaways from games that left a mark with me. If that sounds like your kind of thing, feel free to stick around. Until next time, see ya.